It's a Manchu. Welcome to Minecraft Bedrock vs. Java, where I play through both versions of the game and compare them. Today, I'm going to make a bamboo farm. And why am I making a bamboo farm? You're probably aware that there's a new update for Minecraft coming up, the 1.20 update. It's still many months away, and we don't know a lot about it yet. It doesn't have a title yet. Mojang, the developers, haven't told anyone what the theme is yet. But one of the things we do know that it's going to have is a new kind of wood that's made from bamboo. And I love it when the developers come up with new uses for things that already exist in the game. But that means that I can start preparing for that now by making a bamboo farm so that when the update comes, I'll have all the bamboo I could need for anything I want to make. The farm I'm going to make it in my Bedrock world and my Java world. It's the same concept for both. It's a big field of bamboo, which is going to be broken by a flying machine, and then the bamboo will be collected by one or more allays. The difference, of course, is that flying machines work differently between Bedrock and Java Edition. I'm starting out my Java Edition world, and you can see here that I've already planted a field of bamboo. Although, to be honest, I'm not sure that's the right size for the flying machine I'm going to use, but regardless, I'm going to set up the flying machine first, and then see how big the bamboo farm actually needs to be. I may have to adjust that. So a flying machine in Java Edition can be made with 2 observers, 2 sticky pistons, and 4 slime blocks. And the way I would build it is start with an observer, then a sticky piston, and then next to that I put 2 slime blocks. And then out from the sticky piston, 2 more slime blocks, an observer facing this way, and a sticky piston facing this way. That's it. That's the entire flying machine. Now, before I start this thing moving, I better put some blocks to stop it. So I put some obsidian blocks that can't be moved. Whoops! I screwed that up. I gotta get ahead of this thing, so otherwise it'll just fly away. Got a little carried away there, and it just flies away until it reaches the stop here. So I made a slight mistake there. I should have put that stop in place before I started this thing moving. So how this works, and like I said, the Bedrock Edition version is going to be a little different from this. When this observer detects a change in the block that it's facing, in this case, when I break this obsidian block, it's going to activate this sticky piston. And that pushes this slime block and the slime block behind it, and the slime blocks have these 2 blocks stick to them, so it pushes all 4 of these blocks away from it. When those blocks get pushed away, this observer detects that, hey, it moved to a different position, so it sends a pulse to this sticky piston, which then reaches out and grabs this slime block and pulls it back, along with these 4 blocks that are attached to it, and then it just keeps going, because when these 4 blocks move, then this observer again detects a change and activates this piston again, and it repeats the cycle. This flying machine can move in either direction. It just depends on which observer is activated first. So if I activate this observer, the flying machine moves in that direction. If I activate this observer, then the flying machine moves in this direction. So, and I break this obsidian block. I'll move back the other way. Oh, I also see another issue. You can see how often I build flying machines. The slime blocks are, those slabs are sticking to it, which is no good. Because I had these blocks around the outside edge, I'm going to have to get rid of these. Because the slime blocks are picking up these slabs and moving them, and the slabs are breaking all of the bamboo. That's no good, so I gotta get rid of these. I thought I was being smart and making it look pretty, but that's not gonna work. I gotta get rid of all that. Each of these sticky pistons can move up to 12 blocks, and the way this flying machine is arranged, they're only each moving 4 blocks. That means I can extend this to make it wider and break all the bamboo in a line. If I add 8 blocks on this side, let's make it 7, and a piece of stained glass on the end. So to move that whole line, and then I attach to this side those blocks. And now that's enough to sweep all of this bamboo, and in fact I think I can plant some more, but I'm gonna have to get rid of all those slabs that I planted around the side. The slime blocks will pick them up, and it'll break the whole machine. Alright, it's taken a little trial and error. This is the first time I built a flying machine in Java Edition, and although it is simpler, I had to figure out the timing a little bit of how to get this thing to reverse itself naturally. What I have here, I'm going to show a close-up view of this. I have this timer cycle circuit that I love to use, where you have a redstone torch here, redstone dust here, a repeater, and it has to be specifically on 3 ticks to work, and then a redstone lamp here. I have a switch that allows me to switch it off so that this flying machine, when it gets to here and it hits this obsidian block, it will stop. But then it won't reverse because this timer isn't on. As long as this is on and this repeater's on 3 ticks, it'll get to the end and stop, and then reverse. And I flip this will turn it off so that it'll stop moving. I don't really need a switch on both ends because it just has to stop on one side. Obviously, this flying machine is wider than the bamboo field, so I can expand the bamboo 2 blocks out on either side. So how long does that make it? 18 blocks? Yeah, that sounds right. So the whole bamboo field is 18 blocks wide. And now that I have this turned off, it just stops there until I switch that timer back on. I'll use a timer circuit much like that with a note block for this allay to home in on so that it will return the bamboo to that spot. And hopefully 1 allay and 1 station for it to drop off at will be good enough. One of the reasons why I said allays were better at this is because I wouldn't need to build walls around this whole thing, because the allays can pick up the bamboo from anywhere. But as a matter of fact, the flying machine is pushing stuff way far away, probably too far away for the allays to get to. So I think I'm actually going to put up a small barrier, which with luck should keep the bamboo from flying way out here where the allays aren't going to go get them. Alright, that was a pretty simple farm. It seems to work pretty well. Maybe I need more allays. Maybe I could use another drop station for the allays, like on the other side of the farm. But they seem to be picking up everything. They seem to have the range to pick everything up. It's just a matter of, are there enough allays to keep up? You're doing an okay job, though. And I'm happy with the farm as is. Like I say, I have several months, maybe as much as 6 months before the next update comes. I have lots of time for AFK sessions to collect all the bamboo I could ever use. Now I just have to make a similar design of bamboo farm in my Bedrock Edition world. Let's go try that. One more thing before I go into the Bedrock version of this farm. I want to talk about flying machines and why they have to be different between the 2 versions. I have set up here a sticky piston with a block in front of it, and when I activate this sticky piston, what it's supposed to do is it extends and it pushes the block out, and when I take power away and the piston retracts, it pulls the block back. That's what it's supposed to do. But in Java Edition, if the sticky piston receives a very quick pulse of power, like from an observer, where it gets a pulse of 1 tick, it's very short. In that case, the sticky piston will extend and push the block out, but then retract again and leave the block behind. Like that. Which, I'm pretty sure that's a bug. I don't think it's supposed to work that way. When I make the observer activate again, and it gives a very quick redstone pulse to the sticky piston, it will extend again and then retract and pull the block back. I don't think it's supposed to work that way, and it's not the way it works in Bedrock Edition. Let me show you. Okay, now here I am in the Bedrock world with the same design. I'm having an observer that's going to send a quick pulse to the sticky piston, and watch what happens. See that? It does retract the block every time, even though it's a really quick pulse from the observer. What that means is, if I was to try and make the flying machine using the exact same design that I used in the Java Edition world, which would be like that, then when I activate this, it kind of starts moving in one direction, and then it pushes back and forth, and it keeps changing direction. It's not consistently moving in one direction the whole time. So in order to make this type of flying machine move consistently in the same direction, I have to replace one of the sticky pistons with a regular piston. And if I do that, now it moves in this direction. The non-sticky piston will push it in the same direction consistently. Problem is, that doesn't work for the farm I'm trying to make, because I need the flying machine to be able to move all the way across the farm in one direction, and then when it gets to the end, move back the other direction. It has to be able to reverse this direction, and a flying machine like this in Bedrock Edition only moves one direction. To get it to move in two directions, I gotta use a very different design. Okay, so for the Bedrock version, what I have to do, place 5 slime blocks, and then one on the end. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slime blocks long, and then one out this way. An observer here, a regular piston here, another observer here, and a sticky piston here. Okay, now out from the sticky piston, I put 2 slime blocks and then another 4 this way. An observer here, so it's kind of the same as it was the other way. A regular piston here, another observer here, I get my way out of here, and a sticky piston there. This design, by the way, is something that I did not make up myself. I got it from a YouTuber called Prowl, and he's not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. The guy actually thinks that mending bows are a good idea, but in spite of that fact, he did come up with this design for a flying machine, which actually works in Bedrock Edition. I gotta give him credit for that, and I'll put a link to his video in the description. So that's the design of the flying machine for Bedrock Edition. The way this will work is if I activate that observer, it sends a pulse to that piston, which causes that piston to move. That activates this observer, which activates this sticky piston. And that pushes these 10 blocks back 1. When that happens, that activates this observer because it detects the movement, activating this piston, which then causes this observer to power this piston, which will reach out and grab these 10 blocks and pull them in. So if I activate this observer first, the flying machine will fly in this direction. If I activate this observer first, the flying machine will fly in that direction until something stops it. Now before I activate this thing at all, let me just put some obsidian blocks here. Make sure that it's going to stop moving when it gets to the end. Okay, so if I built this correctly, there it goes. I can see that I have a little hitchhiker here. We're going to have to fix that. There it goes. Now it's moving back the other way. Okay. Now another problem I have with this flying machine is it's not going to be able to be as wide as the Java Edition version because I need a lot more blocks in it just to get it to function. I can only add 2 more blocks onto the end. That's as wide as I can make it, and that's what, 12 blocks wide? Yeah, it's 12 blocks wide. Whereas the Java Edition version was 18 blocks wide. I could add an additional flying machine next to this, make the whole thing 24 blocks wide, but I think I'm okay with it being just 12 blocks wide. Now, to figure out a way to activate this. I spent an embarrassingly long time trying to figure out a convenient redstone way of doing this to make the flying machine move all the way to the end one direction and then reverse direction move the other way. And I couldn't come up with a better way on my own to do it than the way Prowl did it. And that is to simply put bamboo here. When this bamboo grows, this observer will detect it and the whole flying machine will start to move the other direction. I just have to wait for this bamboo to grow like this, and then it moves back. I just couldn't come up with a more elegant design than that. It does work, and I don't think the rates are going to be any worse doing it that way, waiting for that one piece of bamboo to grow to get it to move the other way. You can see that I already have my collection system set up here with the note block for the allay or allays to zero in on. I think I'm going to use a couple allays for this. Let me just go get the allays and then plant the rest of the bamboo field, and it should be good to go. As I go through and plant these bamboo shoots, something very weird I've discovered. These bamboo shoots actually stop the flying machine. Slime blocks kind of get stuck on them. But if there are stalks like this, it doesn't stop the flying machine. So I need to bone meal these bamboo shoots as I plant them just once so that the flying machine will actually go through them. Because these little shoots like this, they'll stop the flying machine in its tracks. It's weird that it does that. Definitely got to be some kind of bedrock bug. Well, at last it looks like the farm is working. And as I said, the flying machine had to be designed a little different. Thanks to Prowl, I'll put a link in the video description to his video of the flying machine. And in fact, he makes a bamboo farm with this flying machine. And it's the same kind of concept. This is a little smaller scale, but I think this is quite sufficient to give me lots of bamboo. I just wish I could come up with a better mechanism for getting this flying machine to move back and forth. Better than wait for this bamboo to grow and then it starts moving. And that works well enough. You notice I put a rail along here of frog lights. And the reason I did that, I don't really need a railing around this, but in order for a bamboo to grow, the top of the plant has to be a light level of 9. So putting these lights around the outside should help promote growth for this bamboo farm night and day. Obviously, if I want to stay here for a long time, I need to build some safe AFK spot. And I could work on that, hang out for a while, and collect as much bamboo as I'm going to ever need. The 1.20 update at this point is still many months away. I have lots of time to gather bamboo. If you made it this far in this video, you probably like what you saw, so click on the like button. You know, I keep trying to promote the idea that if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll see when the next video gets out, and you'll get prompted to do that. But don't do it for you. Do it for me. I need more subs. So subscribe to my channel, please. While you're impatiently waiting for me to come out with a new video, you can check out my old library of videos, including this one, where I make an automated mud farm. And next time I might make some more farms that are going to help me prepare for the next update, the 1.20 update, on Amon Chooses Minecraft, Java vs. Bedrock.